Hi, my name is Lisa. Welcome to Beauty from Inside and Out. And today we're talking AM skincare. What are the necessary things to do in an AM skincare? And maybe the not so necessary things to do in an AM skincare. Keep watching.
If you're here, then you woke up today. And that is a blessing. Don't take that for granted. Don't waste it.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and get a little moisture on my lips because I have not done anything on my face at all because I'm going to do my morning AM skincare routine in front of you. And this is the things that I kind of do on the daily, but of course, always making sure what is it that my skin needs. That is so crucial. So crucial. I think we kind of just bypass that. We think that somebody tells you, do A, B, and C, and stick to that. I have learned throughout the years that I've been really diving into skincare, that it's all about what your skin is needing on the daily. So this is kind of what I normally do, but I always assess, right? So let's put the hair back. Let's get the hair all set and out of the way. So this is kind of like what the order of how I usually do my AM skincare routine. The first thing I usually notice, I'm a snack eater at night as far as like those after dinner appetizers, and I love my salty snacks. So I will 9 times out of 10 wake up with puffiness under my eyes. So getting a good serum, and I love the caffeine by The Ordinary. So what I do is I usually take like maybe a drop or two on my finger, and then I rub that just gently like underneath my eyes. This is so good for just that inflammation under the eyes, right? Caffeine. There are so many other ways that you can do this. This is just one of my favorites. Check out my video from, I think it was last week, where I talk more in depth about different things that you can do for like under your eyes. I think you'll find that interesting. But once I put the serum on, I will then go with my favorite kind of under eye patches. I've mentioned these before. I am not affiliated with them, but I really do appreciate this because I use these on the regular. So instead of getting like the disposable ones, it's just really saving me some money in just washing these out gently when I'm done with it, and then reusing them, just putting them back in my case and reusing them. But I do this first because this should sit under your eyes for like at least a good 10-15 minutes while you do other things either to your face or to say go grab your coffee and sip, and I don't know, just make sure that you're allowing this process to do the job that it needs to do. Because as we age, we know that we already have the issues we do under our eyes, thinning, more textured. So anything you can do to plump that up, you're good to go. So that's kind of the first thing I particularly do, is just assess and see what's going on underneath my eyes. So I will, again, 9 times out of 10, do this one step in the morning, like almost religiously. The next thing, and I'm starting out first with like the necessary things as I'm doing my eyes, and then I'll kind of let you know what I think are not so necessary, as I said, in the opening of the video. So this next step is, I think, one that it depends on your skin truly. I don't do this necessarily every single morning, but if I, for an example, use a very heavy oil at night, as far as my nighttime skincare routine, where I am pounding on like, I just went to go grab it. So this is also by The Ordinary. It's 100% organic cold pressed rose hip seed oil. Now, I put this on as my last step in my skincare routine, and I'm going to do a second part to this video for next week as far as the PM, so stay tuned for that. But I will put this on after my moisturizer. So I don't typically put it on every single night, but when I do, there are times when I wake up with a little more of oils on my face. Therefore, I will go ahead and use a toner, and that was what I was trying to get to. This is something that I believe could be a necessary depending on your skin type, right? If you typically have oilier skin, I think this is a good toner to use. Not this one per se, but this is one that I have. So toners in general, it's important to like look and read all of your ingredients because there's so many toners. So there are toners that can target different things. There are toners that are good if you feel like you need more of a hydration because it could have glycerin in it and it has hyaluronic acid in it. So again, like going back and like reading your labels, there are toners that if you are acne prone are perfect for what you need with I think it's called salicylic acid, which is good for like acne prone skin. There are toners that are good for like redness and inflammation. It has the aloe or chamomile, but overall toners help like level the pH on your skin. So looking for the right toner can help, and you can incorporate that basically into your AM skincare. So for me, it depends on what I did the night before, and then I can use a toner, but I normally don't grab a toner. So that's one that, you know, judging on where you sit. Okay, so while this is like, again, and it's only been just about maybe 5 minutes, so I still have time that I can leave this onto my skin under my eyes. But so the next thing that I think for me and my next step would be is to now target what I feel I need for the most part, which can be a necessary for you or maybe not. And that is either one of these two, either vitamin C, which for the longest time I use a vitamin C because vitamin C also helps with so many things. I mean, it's an antioxidant, but it also helps with like dark spots. It helps brighten the skin. So I used a vitamin C in the beginning stages of when I started to really introduce and become more consistent with my skincare. It has L-ascorbic acid, which is an ingredient that really is helpful when you're using a vitamin C. But if you have really sensitive skin, that's where you have to just really be careful if on the choice of vitamin C you have. Okay, that being said, the thing that I have switched over is using a peptide, and I used a multi-peptide complex because now that my skin and the tone of it has leveled more normal than it was before, I don't reach for vitamin C's that often. But I feel in my stage where I'm at that a multi-peptide, I think the peptides get lost in the slew of skincare applications, and it's like one of these so good things to incorporate into your routine. And you can do this at night, but I do this like in the morning. This is like one of the things that I do right after I have used and placed and take off my under eye patches. Again, this helps with just the elasticity in your skin, which, hello, when you're getting older, we so need that, right? Like, it's like we need the hydration, and we need that mobility, you know, with the skin. Everything is just kind of starting to get a lot more textured, and so this is so good. And I bring this all the way down to like my neck, and sometimes even down to like my chest area, but mostly especially under like my neck, because it just helps with that, with all of the goodness that this has. So a peptide, okay? And there are different kind of peptides as well. So I know also, and one of the skincare brands that I really started out with before I started diving into different ones was The Ordinary, because it was so affordable. And speaking of that, which I mentioned too already, there's also a peptide, a copper peptide that's like, it's a blue, it's colored blue in the bottle from The Ordinary, and that one's good, and it takes place of a vitamin C in a sense. It packs a power punch when it comes to targeting what vitamin C's do if you're more sensitive to vitamin C's. So you can choose and try that copper peptide. But peptides, and there's so many different ones. Read into it, do your homework. I mean, I kind of like even how I just started to understand which one was going to be the ones that I needed. Okay, now again, this one's a multi-peptide, and it has a lot of different ones. So if you're interested, I always have a link in the bottom that you can go ahead and get this. But if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below and I will answer you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that because I think I am ready for that peptide. Okay, so the magic of being able to videotape, right, is that, hello, I take off my patches and then all of a sudden I'm back and I have no patches. Okay, so let me go ahead and just get some of this, and I am running out of this. It is time for a fresh bottle, but this goes on not very liquidy, like it doesn't have the consistency of just pure water. So it feels a little bit, it has more of a lazier drip. All right, so this is so good. It feels so good. I do not go without this multi-peptide. But moving on to what is the other kind of necessary or like essential AM skincare routine. And this is by far so important. I'm sure it's not any new news to you, but sunscreen. Hello. I know that you've probably heard this said before, but it's totally worth repeating again. If you're developing or trying to start to create a skincare routine, whether it be PM, AM, whatever, you're just now starting to dive into it and you're like, I'm ready to take my steps to get into a nice regimen and taking care of my face. If you do not put on sunscreen, I don't care whether you're going outside, whether you are not going to be sunbathing, if that's what you're choosing, 2 hours or what have not, it's a must. It's a must. Because all the things that you can be spending on, putting on to prevent, if you're not putting on the sunscreen, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. So not only for just the health of your skin, right, to protect it from all kind of medical stuff, but it's important. It's important, and there's so many things that multi from even a sunscreen, so that if that's the one thing that you're doing and the only one thing you have time for, get yourself a sunscreen that can do multiple things. And there are out there. Again, just go ahead and start looking it up on the internet. You know, some of them have moisturizer in them. Some of them, I mean, they can be used as a primer. I mean, the list just goes on and on, you know. But what I feel with a sunscreen, and this is kind of like my way of looking at it when it comes to sunscreen, is that I base it a lot on, because I do other things to my skin as far as my skincare, I'm looking for the depending of what I'm doing that day. And I know I've mentioned this before. So if I am going to go specifically to a beach, or I know I'm going to be outside for the most part of the day, and I'm not even wearing the makeup, that's not, you know, I'm just going about my day, but I am going to be, and I know, exposed to the sun outdoors, then I will use a sunscreen appropriately for that. And I've got many different sunscreens that I have tried, that I have. So it just depends on my activity that day. If I know that I'm not going to be, I'm going to be just running errands and I'm not really going to be outside, or even if I'm just home and I know that I am not going to be so much close to a window for the most part, like I use a lot of that judgment on what I'm choosing to apply that day. So, and then like with this particular one that I'm using today, I like it so much because it has a beautiful tint, like a nice tint glow to it, and it's actually from Supergoop. It's called the Glow Screen 40 SPF. So if I'm not gonna wear like makeup per se that day, and I just want to just do this because I gotta run out real quick out, this is like a great sunscreen to use. Now it is a little pricey in my opinion, so and because it's something that you're gonna have to wear daily, use what you feel that that's gonna be affordable for you, because you know you're gonna need it and you're gonna buy it often. There's so many. I use this one. Okay, so this is the one that I was using for a long time, and I love it so much, mainly because it was very affordable, and it still is. I mean, it's under like $10, I believe. It's been a minute since I bought this, but you can pick it up anywhere, and it's got the tint to it. It's 50 SPF, so it's a good one. It's the Australian Gold. I think this is so good, guys. So again, like one that you know that you're going to be able to afford to get on the regular and use every single day. So with that being said, let me just kind of just quickly brush over, I think, the things that you may not necessarily need to do in an AM skincare routine. Again, anything that I share, it's an exception to the rule, so to speak, right? So I always say that this is my AM skincare routine. Everybody's skin is different. I don't choose to do the things that I say every single day. I assess my skin, right, for the most part. But these are things I think you don't necessarily have to do in an AM skincare routine. And I'll give you the whys. Okay, so one is cleansing. I know that some of us usually do that. Now, what I mean by cleansing, yes, you can splash water on your face. I mean, we typically do, right? We got to get the sleep out of our eyes. But you don't necessarily need like an actual cleanser to clean your face if you are doing a nighttime skincare routine. I mean, your face is good. On top of the fact that you just gave your body and your face and your skin and everything else, right, the rest and the replenishment that it needed for the night. That being said, going back to the toner use, if you are more oily prone, right, your skin is oilier, then yes, you can use a cleanser to use in the morning if you feel like your fresh needs more of a freshness to it. But a toner can take care of that as well if you're doing a nighttime skincare routine. So cleansing, to me, I don't do it. I personally don't do it. Yes, I splash water on my face and then I go straight into what I started to demonstrate today. So that, to me, you don't need to do a formal cleanser in the morning. Okay. The other thing is moisturizer. Now hear me out. Because I know that if you typically have drier skin, the thing you want to reach for is a moisturizer. I mean, it makes common sense, right? That and hydration. But certain moisturizers may be too thick for your skin if you're going to do a makeup application that day. If you're not and you want to do that, by all means, wear a moisturizer. But use a moisturizer, one, thin in its consistency, or, you know, like lighter, or just spot treat your face with a moisturizer. You know, like typically we again, it goes back to the assessing, right? Like if you look and you see where is the first places that your face is going to dry out once you wash your face, and then you start to like pat dry, and you wait a few minutes, like where do you feel that dryness? You know, it's typically not everywhere on your face, so you can spot treat your face with a moisturizer and not glop it all over your face and then have issues again if you're choosing to wear makeup that day. So that's why, again, the exception to the rule, right? But I don't think it's necessary to do a moisturizer in the AM. Okay, and the last thing is a primer. I know that a primer is one of, I don't know, you tell me in the comments below. Do you think that that's more in the makeup lane, or do you consider that still to be in the skincare order? Because as I have mentioned in my video from last week, like there's so many makeup companies, makeup brands that are incorporating a lot of skincare in their makeup. So this can kind of go either on the makeup side, but it can also go in the skincare side, right? And again, it goes back to, are you wearing makeup that day? Maybe you're not. There are some primers that have a tint and a moisturizer in it, if that's what you want and that's what you need. But again, I'm sticking to the side of like, you do not need a primer. If you're gonna wear makeup that doesn't require it, like typically on the cream makeup side, and you may need it if maybe that's your choice of wearing just your primer with some SPF in it and that moisturizer, which you can find. Okay, so those are kind of the three that I think that are not necessary. And again, I hope that you just take whatever I share with a grain of salt. It's just my kind of like AM skincare routine. It's quick. I mean, I can flat do my skincare routine in like 2 minutes. Done. Because I only do typically 3 steps and that's it. And if I really want to be in a hurry, 2. But your AM skincare routine should not be long. It's important to get it done, especially that sunscreen, so you can get on with your day. Next week's video, it's a little bit more detailed, a lot more you can do. So I hope you come back and watch next week's video. But until then, I hope that you enjoyed what I had to share today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who may need to hear a little bit about getting started on your skincare routine. All right, I will catch you next week. Bye.